Tormented by strange nightmares since his childhood of a mysterious woman, Richard is anxious to find out who this person is. His mother had always warned him to stay away from her, calling her a witch, but Richard could never understand these superstitions. But seeing the fear in his mother's eyes, he knew something wasn't right. And now, it has been a year since she has passed away, unable to complete her last words to him. As these strange nightmares continue to haunt him, in his grief and curiosity, Richard travels to his hometown to visit his mother's grave, and perhaps find some answers. Something strange has been happening with me. I've been seeing this woman everywhere. Every time she suddenly disappears, I don't know what I'm seeing. You mean, you saw her spirit? It's the curse of the witch. Charlene stepped out, and the two began walking down the cemetery path. Look, I didn't know your mother, but I heard stories in town. People say she was unable to have a child because a witch had cursed her. They taunted her and sometimes even stayed away from her, until one day she just left town. People only realized the truth when you came here for her funeral, that she had a son and a family, but strange things have happened since. Your mother's grave, What? What about my mother's grave? When night falls, strange noises come from her grave. Sometimes I've heard her crying. They say it's because of the witch's curse. Hearing what Charlene had to say, Richard suddenly realized why his mother never brought him here in his childhood. Perhaps she feared losing him, and now was she suffering in her grave lest something happened to him? Could it be that he was seeing her? She was trying to communicate with him? Thanks for letting me know. Richard returned home and spent the whole day pondering on everything. He had so many things to ask, but no one to ask them to. Late that night, he sat out in the patio, unable to sleep. He had the small red car in his hands. What mystery are you hiding? He cranked the car and set it off, watching it roll towards the woods. As it stopped near the trees, Richard followed after and picked it up, suddenly feeling a cool breeze. But when he looked up, there he saw her again, standing just a distance away from him. "Who are you?" But she was quiet. "Mother, is that you?" "Yes, it's me, Richard." "Then show yourself to me." For the first time, the woman revealed herself to him, but as Richard walked forward, raising his lantern, he stopped. "You're not my mother. Tell me who you are. What do you want from me?" "I only want you to know the truth." Lorraine Wells was one of the many siblings in her family. Unlike them, she was married to a man from town. But this marriage of hers didn't last long when her husband discovered she was unable to conceive. And eventually, when the townspeople got to know, they spread many rumors, saying Lorraine had been bewitched so she couldn't bear a child. After her divorce, Lorraine continued living a lonely life, quite depressed and miserable. The only one to keep her company was a younger sister of hers, Diane. But soon, even Diane got married to Craig. And not long after, she gave her the news she was pregnant. "Lorraine, you're going to be an aunt." I'm so happy for you." Seeing how perfect Diane's life was, a good husband, a beautiful child, made Lorraine envious at times, but she never acted upon it. After all, it was her sister. It was during the last months of her pregnancy, Diane decided to stay at Lorraine's place, as Craig was often busy with work. "Lorraine, look what I got for Richie. Isn't it so sweet? A toy car? Let the boy be born first. It's years till he plays with that." The sisters planned the years to come. But it was soon one night, Diane suddenly began having severe pain in her stomach. "Lorraine, I have to go to the hospital right now." Seeing Diane's condition, Lorraine hurried to get the car keys. But when she returned to help Diane, she stopped. "Lorraine, what are you doing? Help me!" At the last moment, Lorraine suddenly became overwhelmed by a thought, a selfish thought. As Diane fell to the floor, screaming in pain as she delivered her child, as her sister miserably died in front of her. She picked up the crying child in her arms as Diane took her last breath. "You'll be my Richard." That night, Lorraine called Craig and told him Diane had a sudden birth and passed away, leaving him a son. Craig was devastated and shattered. But at that moment, Lorraine consoled him. "Don't worry, I'll take care of Richard. I'll be there for you too." Craig was grateful to Lorraine for adopting their son as her own. And eventually, as they began living as a family, Craig and Lorraine fell in love and got married. They decided to leave town and start a new life with Richard. Seeing Lorraine's attachment to Richard and knowing how much she had always wanted to be a mother, Craig never told Richard about his mother. And Lorraine never gave up her secret, not even before her death. A secret for which she suffered in her grave. "I am your mother." Richard fell speechless in shock as he stared at the woman. All his life, the face he wondered about was of his own mother, his real mother. "You're beautiful." Rest in peace, Mom. Rest in peace, Mom. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe and share this video with your friends and family.